Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the series where I review stuff. And yeah, in the last video I did the review on a movie called Hot Wheels World Race. And yeah, there is a sequel series, as I mentioned in that video. And so I'm gonna be reviewing it today. And yeah, this is my review of the series known as Hot Wheels Acceleracers. Also, spoiler warning for Hot Wheels World Race and Acceleracers. If you do not want spoilers, go check out the Hot Wheels Acceleracers and World Race series. They're on YouTube now for free. So yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled about some stuff, which I won't go into too many spoilers, click off this video now, go watch them. You won't regret it. And then come back and watch the rest of this video. Alright, enjoy. So what is Hot Wheels Acceleracers? Well, Hot Wheels Acceleracers is a sequel to The World Race, and a darker sequel, in fact. Hot Wheels Acceleracers, at its core, is a story about two teams, the Teku and the Melmaniacs. Along the way, they have differences and conflicts, and even conflicts within the teams themselves. They race in these new tracks called racing realms. The racing realms are basically, challenges to test the driver's skill. And at the end of each of the realms, there are these things called Acceleracers. The Acceleracers are basically power-ups for your car. And if the drones get enough Acceleracers, they'll be able to take over the world. So the drivers race and try and stop them. So that was the main, plot of Acceleracers. But what also boosts Acceleracers is the characters, which I'll talk about now. So the characters. There are in total 16 characters who appear, not counting the drones and who we actually know the names of. There are 10 known characters in Acceleracers and 6 new ones. And I'm going to be talking about the returning characters first. So first up is the main character, Burt Wheeler. He was the main character in the last movie, and since this is a sequel, it makes sense. The first character is different from World Race counterpart. For one, Burt, he doesn't really succeed much, and he has his doubts about his driving. He's different for sure, but honestly, he works. And yeah. Next up is Taro Kitano. Taro's basically the same, and yeah. The only difference is he's not a team leader in this, and neither is Burt. Next up is the Wild brothers, Kurt and Marky. Kurt is different. For one, he's less smug in this movie, and he's not a bad guy. So yeah. Here's where the real changes come in for returning characters, at least. Wild, aka Mark Wild. So, in the movie, and spoilers again, after the world race, Mark Wild was thrown into jail for 2 years. And yeah, since then, he's had a grudge against his brother. And I won't go into details on what happened. You'll have to watch the series to find out. But yeah, that happened. That feud gets in the way of the driving and winning in general. Alright. And both of them are on the opposite teams. Kurt being on Teku, and Wild being on the Metal Maniacs. Alright. Next up is Tesla's research team. So the team consists of Dr. Tesla, which is similar in this series and World Race. However, the difference between him and the World Race is that he's handicapped. Yeah, in the first scene of Acceleracers, you see him getting handicapped and just being disabled for the whole movie series. And the thing about him in this movie is he has a genuine fear of the drones, which for a kids movie is dark. For a series of kids movies, it's dark. Anyway, so Gig. I'm not gonna go into Gig, but he's mainly the same. There are differences though. I'm not gonna spoil it. Then there is Lonnie Tom, which in this series she's not a racer. She's actually wanting to help with, making sure things go well, and mainly being helpful. She's mainly more of a mechanic or guy in a chair, mostly. But she was shown to be caring of the drivers and their mental states, which is something that's good, I'd say. Honestly, for what they go through in this movie, I'm surprised. I think her role is important. But now let's go on to Kadeem. So Kadeem is still a racer, but he's part of Tesla's research team. I'm not gonna go into him. You'll have to watch and see. But yeah. Now we move on to Galore, which, since the last movie, is a bit different. For one, in Hot Wheels World Race, again, if you haven't seen Hot Wheels World Race, spoiler alert, but she was shown to be a robot. On Acceleracers, that's taken even further beyond. Like, you can tell 100% that she is indeed a robot, and the leader, in fact, of the racing drones. And yeah, alright, so that was all the returning characters. Now, if you're wondering where Banji and the others are, I'm not gonna say. You'll have to watch. But now let's move on to new characters. Starting out with the team leaders. The team leaders of the Teku and male maniacs, being Nola Pissarro and Torque Maddox. So these two are mainly rivals, but in the movies, you see, in the movies, you know why, they're fighting and constantly trying to beat each other. And just, stuff like that. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. You just have to watch the series. But yeah. Next is Karma Ice and Shirako Takamoto. So, for starters, Karma Ice. So Karma Ice is, I'd say, the best racer in Hot Wheels Acceleracers, and just in general. Second, I'd probably say Taro, but yeah, she's one of the best, and who figures out that you need to use racing skills to beat the realms, and that's what they test. And she even helps Taro get out of the war realm in record time. So yeah, let's move on to Shirako though. Shirako's one of the best characters, not gonna lie. Like, he's just a chill dude overall. Like, he's the music guy, and that's kind of obvious. I mean, his car is baseline, which, if you know what baseline looks like, it literally has 6 speakers in the back of the car. Not like small speakers either, it's big, like subwoofer speakers. But yeah, he is really cool. And one thing about him, and this is a fun fact, he actually drives on the right side of his car, which basically means that he most likely imported it from, for instance, Japan, let's say, which wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, Shirako's cool, and yeah, I like him. Now let's move on to the Mel Maniacs members, those being Diesel Riggs, aka Porkchop, and Mitchell McClurg, aka Monkey. So, let's go with Monkey first. Like Benji, Monkey is mainly the comic relief character. And he does have his moments, and he is relatable in the series. Unlike Benji, though, he's not that serious at times. He's more comic relief than, So yeah, the next step is Porkchop, which Porkchop, well, he's basically like a father to Monkey. And a lot of the scenes with him in it will usually have Monkey as well there. Anyway, so Porkchop, he's one of the best characters as well. And I won't spoil what happens, but there's an event in his life that haunts him. And you see what it is in the second movie. So yeah, go watch the movies, and yeah, you'll know what I'm talking about. Now let's move on to the soundtrack. So, the soundtrack to Hot Wheels Acceleracers is, to say the least, amazing. There are so many more songs than Hot Wheels World Race, and each one of them are just banger after banger. Like, it's actually insane how much details went into the series and the soundtrack. And watch these movies. Anyway, though, that was the soundtrack. And the thing about the soundtrack is it fits every scene, the whole movie. Every soundtrack fits really well, and it's amazing. However, there are still cons in this movie, and I'll go over those now. So the cons of the movie are there are clipping moments where two objects kind of go into each other. But it's not really noticeable, really. Like, you'd have to be looking for the actual things to notice them. So, it's not that bad. Hot Wheels World Race also had that. But, yeah. Next up is animation errors. There are, I'd say, more animation errors. I mean, it is 2+ hours of more content than World Race, so there's bound to be more. But overall, just there's animation errors in a lot of places. And then there's the actual character anatomies. So, Hot Wheels Acceleracers was made by a different studio, that being Rainmaker Entertainment. And as it's made by a different studio, the animation is different, as well as the character models. Even though all these cons are, like, I, a fan of the series, even call out, I don't think they're too bad. Like, even though, I grew up with these movies. And fun fact, they are actually as old as I am. So wrap your head around that. And yeah. This came out in 2005 and 3, so yeah. Honestly though, the animation isn't bad. Like, even now, some movies are way worse. Have way worse animation than this. But yeah. Those are really all... No, wait, there's one more. One major detail that makes me mad even today. That's the fact that this series was canceled, by the way. So, there are 4 movies, and there are in total about 16 shorts. However, there was also meant to be more movies after this. And the thing that sucks about Hot Wheels Acceleracers is the fact that it leaves off on a cliffhanger. And I want to know what happens after that so bad. But I can't. Yeah. That sucks. But it's still a good series either way. Like, I'd rate it 9.5 out of 10. Which, I mean, do with that what you will. I do have grown up with this series, so I might be a bit biased. But yeah. Anyway, so my final thoughts on Hot Wheels Acceleracers is it's a good series. It's dark, and so one thing about Hot Wheels World Race and Acceleracers that I don't think I mentioned is that they match up perfectly together. By that I mean Hot Wheels World Race was released 2 years before Acceleracers. Acceleracers had a 2-year time skip, and it came out in 2005. They worked in the time skip between the actual movies. On top of that, there are events that took place in World Race, which they quickly cover in Episode 1, Ignition. So if you haven't seen World Race, you know the basics of it. And they tell you more about it and what happened later on. So yeah, I think it's a great series that should have gotten finished. Anyway, so yeah, that was my review of Hot Wheels Acceleracers. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Yeah. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video from me. And hopefully, if I can manage it, I'm going to try and get all the stuff for Acceleracers in the description for links. Or I might just make a playlist of it and then link the playlist. I might do that, maybe. If I can figure it out, I will. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and go watch Acceleracers. Seriously, if you haven't already, what are you doing with your life? Just do it. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.